Okay guys, welcome to another episode of Ark Survival Evolved with Hrph here on Valguero. This video is going to kind of serve as a breeding guide, I guess you could say, sort of an introduction to breeding. And I'll go over the Deinonychus that we found and that we started with. We are now, let's see, we've excluded two of the originals now from the gene pool. And we have a resulting male that is now mating with our original females. So our issue in the beginning was that we found three. Well, originally we found a 135 egg, and then we found two 145 eggs. I hatched up the 135, and that came in as a male. The two 145s were both female. I then found a third 145, hatched that one up. That one also was a female. So, you know, the issue is that the 135 male, his stats at this point are irrelevant because now all three females have better stats than he does. So none of his stats are going to carry over. So what I did is I started breeding, and I'll show you a spreadsheet that I wrote with all of their stuff here shortly. But what we did was breed him with, you know, I labeled the females F1, F2, and F3 just to keep their stats straight. So I named them that in a spreadsheet and then gave them that actual name, so I would know exactly which, you know, without having to look at them each time which one is which. So I'm going to go ahead and pause here. Well, I guess we'll let this thing hatch. Most likely it's not going to be very good. The first one was not good. So you can see the parents of this one. We got a male 173 and a female M1, I'm calling him. He is the resulting male from the original 135 and F3, which was a 145 female. And I'll explain the reasoning for all of this. Let's just let this guy hatch, and let's see. He's a 158. That's not good enough, so we're gonna just we're going to get rid of that. So the Sarge is helping me clean up here. So let's go check our breeding pair over here. This is F2. We are going to insert her into the mix once we get the result that we want from this guy, girl, who is F1, and this who is M1. So again, F1 was one of the original 145s. I'll pause it right here. Whoop. Actually going to pause it. So F1 had, of all the stats for the three females, F1 had the best melee. So actually, let me go ahead and see if I can bring up... I'm going to bring up the spreadsheet here. I need to add it to OBS. Let's see if I can do this without making a mess of this video. I'm going to do a window capture. And I'm going to capture the spreadsheet. Okay. So this is our spreadsheet here. Let's see if... let me get my cursor over here. So I've highlighted these. You know, I just color-coded. This is just open offer spreadsheet. So I have F1 here, F2, F3, the original male. So these are the four that we were working with. I decided to go for, and I highlighted the best stats from the females in green here. And I chose these blue for the male only because these were better than F3's stats, right, in the same category. So even though his stats are not going to carry over because he doesn't have any of the best of the four, we still want to breed his into one of these so we can keep improving as we go. So the original goal was to breed F3 with the original male. So the first egg we got was F4, who was a female, obviously. And I named her F4, but she turns out to be irrelevant because we don't want a female, right? We wanted a male with all the best stats to, in turn, come back and breed with F1 and 2 to combine all the stats. So what happened here, so F4 was our, the first keepable one, I should say. What we got immediately the egg after F4 was what I termed M1. So we got all of, we got F3's health, stam, and oxygen. And we also got the male's, food, weight, and melee. Now, for some reason, his torpor, hers was higher too, F4, but M1's torpor jumped up like, 300 points. Now, this is not a mutation. When I look at his lineage, he's not mutated. So I don't exactly know how the torpor works. And honestly, I don't really care, right? It's nice to have this for levels or whatever, but we don't really care. Food, we don't really care. So where we're at now is I've got M1, which is the culmination of F3 and the original male. So we can now retire F3, retire the original male, and we never really needed F4. So I've got these three are outside right now, not part of the mix. So what we're doing is breeding M1 with F1, attempting to retain all of M1's stats with the additional 454 melee. And then the reason I'm doing F1 first is because F2 has a better food by a lot, by 400, and I don't really care about that. The food's not really, it's great to say, hey, we got 3 or 4 levels extra, but it's into food, so I don't really care. And the weight is so close, it's 207 to 210, that really that's not that big a deal, right? We might take a couple of shots at it, but what I really want to get out of this is basically all of M1's stats with the high melee 454. So that should bump him up, to 176, 178, 180. I'm not really sure where that'll fly. So that is the original, that's the goal for this level of breeding right now that we're at. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this window from OBS. And we're going to jump back into the game. And we are waiting for her to breed. She won't be able to breed another couple of minutes. His Deinonychus is so squirrely. Like, I have to get right up on him to read. And, did we have one hatch? I don't think we did, right? No, we didn't. Okay. We're waiting for her to drop an egg. Or am I carrying an egg? I'm carrying an egg. Yeah, okay. So I gotta drop this. I was like, this isn't working right. So, alright, I'm gonna drop this egg here. And so keep in mind, I have, I had to add 2 air conditioners. If again, this is sort of intended to be a standalone video, but if you've seen any of the other Ark videos, I had 4 air conditioners here with 2 Dimetrodons, one on each side. They sort of act as air conditioners, and the Deinonychus were hatching just fine during the day, but at night they became too cold. So I added 2 more ACs. So using the Dimetrodons, it just keeps you from having to have like, a dozen or 15 air conditioners or something silly. So we've got about 5 minutes left on this to hatch. Now I'm single player Xbox, which you can see from the description and from the original, the opening of the video. Single player Xbox, and we have the rates boosted up, so the mating interval is as low as it can go, and the egg hatch speed is as fast as it can go. So we've adjusted these settings you know, to make this process as quick as possible. So what I'm going to do is, this is probably going to take a while, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the video and continue the breeding process. And when we have our resulting you know, egg that we're looking for, so we're looking for a male again because we still want to try to breed with another female. But even if we get a female, that could be okay because we could use her as the next generation to replace F1 here. So either way, if we get one that's got all the good stats, we're okay. But what we really want, what would be nice, is a male, or twins would be nice. But I will bring you back when we hatch up something good. Hey guys, this one just hatched. Came in at a 180, so let's check it out. See what the stats are gonna look like. Let's see, health. Oh, the health is even low. Food. 195, 600, 40, 80, 207. Got the high melee. The Topher's gone up a bit, but the health is crummy. And this is a male. Well, that's good and bad, I guess. We did actually get a mutation, so that's why the extra level. I'm going to keep this one, but this is not a breeder. This will be, unfortunately, we need the health and the melee, and we only got the melee, so, with a mutation. So, okay, well, we'll raise this guy up, and, he will become a, let me grab a crab pot here. So he'll become a caver, part of the army. In fact, I'll keep you with me here. I'll show you. Take his food because he's. Once they hit 10%, they start eating from the trough, which I have out here. So, yeah, I got to put a little bit more food in there. But I do have these retired Deinonychuses. So this is our original crew. So I'm just gonna add the little guy out here. Tell him to stop following me. I'll go put some food in that while we wait for the next ones to hatch. That was close. Anyway, I'll bring you guys back for any more developments. Hey guys, we just hatched a 183. So we're still breeding our F1 female. Which is a 145, and then our M1 male, which is a 173. So the result here is a one. Oh, I just picked up all the eggs. That's good. And it looks like, if I had to guess, this one mutated also. No, it didn't. Oh, that's really good. So this one got, it's got the high health, and it's got the high melee as well. So it's got 554 melee, 1240 health, and it has all the other high stats. Exactly what we want. It's a female, so I think we can retire F1. And this one actually got some high torpidity, which is, I think, why it jumped up. But this is perfect. Perfect. It's growing really fast, so it's already eating off the trough. So this is perfect. I'm gonna go tell these guys to quit mating. Let's see. Oh, I already let her drop this egg and then turn her off. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to update the spreadsheet and sort of show you, maybe I can make some kind of a hierarchy to sort of show like how this is kind of done. But effectively now we've bred 2 of the 3 best stats into a female. So we still need to breed this female. So it's an interim step. We still need to breed this female with the 173. But now we have a better shot of getting higher levels quicker, because we're basically jumping up almost, it's like 38 levels. So this is fantastic. So I will bring you back shortly and sort of explain all this in the spreadsheet form again. So let's see, behavior, disable mating. Okay, and we're going to be able to effectively retire her. I wasn't thinking this little guy may be following me. Gonna be lost in the pile somewhere. There he is. She, I guess. Okay, quit following me. No, I like the colors on that one. So yeah, it's an interim step because we still want to breed. I guess I don't so much care about this one. Like I said, F2 really only had it had a high food and just a slightly higher weight at 210 rather than 207. So, I mean, we could take a couple of shots at it. I just think, the gap. We've had to hatch maybe a dozen eggs here before we got one. So I think I'm gonna probably skip this one. And retire that one as well, so we can breed from these 2, and ultimately, hopefully, we can make an equivalent male, and then we have the perfect mating couple. So, let's retire this young lady, and by retire, I'm just putting you over here with the gang. So ultimately, I would like, I think, 6. I don't remember what the perfect number of Deinonychus is. We've got some... We've only got 1 male out here? No, actually, we've got 2 males out here. I'm going to want your saddle, because you have one of the... Yeah, you have one of the really good saddles. Now, yours isn't as good as the other one, but... Right, I'm going to take that. I have made some Deinonychus saddles for these guys. Ultimately, what I want to do is take these guys down into the aberration area here in Valguero. And I'm just trying to... I don't quite remember the what the right number is for pack bonuses and things like that. So I'm going to look some of that up while we hatch out these last couple of eggs here. And let this little guy grow up. So 2 of these I picked up by accident, so these are still from the same parents, and one of them she just dropped. So we'll let this little female grow up, we'll insert her into the breeding line, and we will be back. Hey guys, so we are back on Valguero here, and I just wanted to do a quick synopsis to kind of finish off this sort of Breeding 101 episode. I've updated my spreadsheet here. I just wanted to go through the lineage real quick just to show you. Sometimes it helps, like, visually, right? So these top lines here, this is the 4 eggs that we collected in the wild. I hatched them all. We grew them. And I have highlighted all of their stats, right? So these were the original 4 we started with. Unfortunately, the male had like 0 stats to kind of go forward with. As all the females had better stats, which makes it a little bit harder, right? If you found a really good male, really good female, and then you mixed them together. But so we wanted to piecemeal these guys together. So the first iteration, what I decided to do first was do the hardest one first, because we had 3 stats. and 3 stats. So I just named them F1, F2, F3, and then the male 135. So I took the F3 and we bred it with, let me get that there. So we bred it with the male. So the end result of this was a few eggs. After several tries, this isn't the first try. So, but we did end up, first we initially got what I called F4, but it turned out to be a female. And while it did have a couple of better stats than the mom, it really wasn't good enough to kind of move forward with. What I really wanted out of this was a male that inherited mom's stats, right? So that we could breed in from F1 and F2 their stats moving forward. So F4 we ended up not inserting into the breeding circle. She became a caver. So she's off with the group of cavers. So M1 is what we use going forward. So F3's stats have now pushed forward, so F3 also comes out of the breeding pool. So F3, the original male, and F4 we're not going to use. So M1 is what we use going forward. And to jump back up to the top, right, we F1 is what we wanted to push forward with melee. Because it had a better stat by quite a bit than F3. So we took the M1, which was the result of our first few tests, and we bred him with the original F1 female, and the result there was a couple of different ones. So what we ended up with was what I'm calling F5, which was a really good result. So it became, it's got the 454, so it's got a better, it's got the good stats. It's got all the good stats moving forward. In fact, the Topher actually improved a bit as well. So where we are at right now is that we have bred in all the stats. Now the F2 I decided not to use also because really it was only it had a 210 weight and I think a better food stat. But really the 210, it doesn't mean too much here, and I think it's going to be a pain in the butt to sort of get back to high levels. It's going to take a million tries, so I really don't think trying to squeeze the 210 in here is going to be worth it, because we'll get a mutation at some point on weight, and it'll be better than that anyway. So what we're going to push forward with is F5 and M1, and we're going to attempt, first off, we're hoping to just get an updated male. And the goal here is to end up with identical stats. So we basically want an M2 that's going to look exactly like F5. And then that will be we'll rename them to, perfect male, perfect female. And then from there, we can start actually going for mutations. So what I wanted to do to wrap up this video was just sort of explain how we got here, what we're doing, why we're doing it. So we're not quite there yet, but I'm going to continue to breed. And then once I hit the desired, once we get M2, that's a 183, and we have the same identical stats, and we're going to rename them. I'm going to bring them over to Ragnarok in our breeding facility, and we may not breed them right away, but what I want to do is go over breeding. I'm probably going to do a similar thing with this for the RGs, and we now have Spinos that we can breed up. We also have Thylacolios that we're going to breed up too. So I don't know if I'll go into this detail with every single one, but it helps me to use the spreadsheets anyway. So I know it's not very graphically pleasing, but this is why, and I just, sometimes it helps with pictures other than just showing stats and showing creatures on a screen. So I think what we'll do here is wrap this video up. And like I said, I'm going to keep going in the background till we get an M2. And once we get M2s, then we're done, merging all the stats, and we have our perfect starting couple. So we can tack on mutations from there, and I'll do a subsequent. This is intended as sort of a breeding 101. Then we're going to do a mutations 101, and I'll use the results of these guys breeding. So anyway, that was it. I hope this has been helpful to folks. As always, appreciate you guys watching. If you find yourself enjoying what we do, if it helps you out, throw us a like and subscribe. Really would help us out. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you guys in the next one.